this library filter. If you don't see the library filter, or if you don't see this bar here, they're both in view. So you can show the filter bar, or sorry, I just hit it, so now it's gone. If it goes away, just go ahead and hit show filter bar in view. Same thing with the toolbar, that's your toolbar down there. If you don't see it, you could just saw the command, but you can also just go to view and hit show toolbar. So you should be able to see both of those things. So now when I go to filters off, I'm going to click that arrow and I'm actually going to go to rated. And that's how I can see my images that I rated with the stars. Right now, this is like mathematical. I've got my greater than or equal to sign. I like to keep things to rating is equal to so that I can just see my fours and that I can just see my fives. Basically, if you were to create a collection for your assignment, what would be the goal is that your 5 stars are the ones that you're bringing into your collection. Or, if you want to mix and match with your fours, if you decide, oh, there's actually an image from here that I want to bring in, this is the whole purpose of rating. So the other ways that you can rate your images, I'm going to go ahead and turn my filters off so that I can see all of them again. And I'm just going to flag these two. In the loop view, if you want to flag this image, you can hit P as in pick on your keyboard, and that will pick the image or flag the image. I can also go to this one and pick it. And then I can also go ahead and if I want to get rid of it, I can hit U to remove the flag. I can also go back and hit U to remove the flag. I can also reject my image by hitting X, and what that's going to do is it's going to gray out my image here. I don't really reject images, but because I'm just like a hoarder of images. So that's up to you if you want to do that, and then maybe you go ahead and do your all photographs and get rid of it later. But I'm going to tell you why you shouldn't do that, or I mean, that's really up to your own discretion if you want to do that. But once you delete your image, it's really going to be gone forever. So I'm going to go ahead to remove a rejected image. You can just hit U again. So if you want to pick images, like flag them, so flagging and picking are basically the same thing. So if you hit P, you'll flag it. If you want to do that, that's one way of rating, and then the stars are another way of rating. If you are really advanced in Lightroom or you like to mix and match, you can definitely do both rating and flags. And then basically in your custom filters, let me just give this one a flag just so you can see. When I go back to the grid view, I can go to rated and I can see all my images that were rated, let's see, fours. And this one also has a flag on top. So that's another way to narrow down my images. It's got 4 flags, or sorry, 4 rating stars here and 1 flag here. So I really personally don't do that, but if you want to, you can. It's an option. So I'm going to go back ahead and turn my filters off. So really you should choose either you're liking to pick images, like flag them by picking them with P on your keyboard, or you're rating with stars. So those are the 2 ways you can do it. And basically flagging is a lot faster and simpler, but it's not as like customizable as it would be with rating with stars, because with stars you obviously have tiers. So either you like it or you love it with fours or fives. So that's up to you. On top of that, you can also color code your images by clicking the little like faint square here, and I can change this image to a red rating. I could change this image to a yellow, and I could change this image to a green. And that can mean whatever it wants to mean for you. So maybe red is like, I want to go ahead and edit this tomorrow. Yellow is I'm in the process of editing it. Green is ready to go. I'm ready to submit it for my project or put it into another folder, or sorry, rather another collection. Speaking of folders, I want to go ahead and shut this down, so I just keep it closed. I also keep my published services closed because those two I don't really look at. I'm only looking at catalog and collections in here. So just so you have a little information about that. I can also color code these by event. So maybe if I take all nature photos or landscape images, things that are outside, I'm going to go ahead and label them green. Or if I'm taking portraits, I give them all purple ratings. So if you want to like go ahead and grab a couple images and just rate them all a certain color for some reason, you can do that. So if I click this image and I hold Command down or Control if you're on a PC, I'm still holding that button down, Command, and I'm selecting these 3 images. They're all highlighted. Now I can go ahead and give them a blue code here, and they're all blue. Or if you want to click the first one, hold Shift and click the last one, and I'm going to label them purple because I want them to be part of this set. Some people, I don't know if I just said this, but basically some people do like weddings as a certain color, and portraits as a certain color, and events as a certain color. So really it's up to you on how you want to work with that. Now I can see that I've got some blues, I've got all these different colors here. So this is like your last step if you want to like mark an image that you want to bring into something later. What you would do is you would go to filters and you would go to rate it again. And now when you go to rating is equal to, if I go to 4s, I can see just my blue images by hitting that blue. I have to turn that off to see the images again. Um, or you could keep it active and you could see purple. But if you want to just keep it to purple, you want to turn the blue off. So just be aware of, clicking these on and off if you want to see certain images and so on. So, sorry to get this confusing. I don't want to confuse you here. So let's just say I clicked my 4-star ratings and the ones that are purple. So it's just a way that you can see your images a little bit more precisely here. Once you've rated your photos, then you can go ahead and select them to move to a collection that then you would go ahead and edit. I will get to editing in another day, but basically, to make a collection, what you can do is go to collections here, and you're going to go ahead, let me make this bigger. You're going to go to collections, and you're going to go ahead and go to the plus sign. So this plus sign, basically anytime we have an assignment, a project due, you're going to go ahead and go to create collection, and that's where you're going to organize your photos. I want you to make collections because it just makes exporting your assignments right here, which I'll go over in a second. It just makes it so much easier. Personally, that's how I found it. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and add a collection. I already made one last time, project 1. Let me make a new collection for, let's say, I'm going to call this in-class assignment 2. So, I mean, whatever your assignments are called, like last time we had aperture, we also had ISO, we had shutter speed. So maybe I'll just call this one shutter speed. And basically, if you understand what I'm saying here, is that like every time you have a discussion that you need to submit images to, you could then call it that name and they would exist here. Same thing with your projects, like the ones that we have critiques on, formal critiques on, you would also put that here. So again, how I did that is I went to collections plus create collection, and I went ahead and called that, let's just call it shutter speed. And then you want to go ahead and uncheck everything here. If you get more advanced in Lightroom, you could certainly select these if that makes sense to you, but just keep them unchecked. They are blue when you check them, so make sure everything is grayed out. Then I'm going to go ahead and hit create. If for any reason you need to get rid of a project or a collection here, so let me just make another one as like a test so you can see it. So let's say I don't want this test folder, I can just click it and I can hit minus, and that will get rid of my test folder. So now it's not there anymore. So if you make a couple collections on accident, you can go ahead and remove it if you need to. So also the thing about collections that these are all copies. So basically what you can do when you're ready to go ahead and select your images, let's say I'm going to bring all these purple images in there, or I'm going to start with maybe a couple blue ones here. What you want to do is drag and drop from the middle. So I can't grab it if I'm trying to grab it from this gray part here. I can't grab it. So you want to drag from the middle. So I'm clicking, holding, and dragging, still holding down, and I can see it here. And then I would drop it into the right folder here, or sorry, collection rather. So I'm going to drop that into shutter speed. Just know this is a copy. So I could very much just hit delete on my computer, or I could go to right click and hit remove from collection. They do the same thing and it would go away, but it's not actually deleted. If I go to all photographs and I go ahead and try to delete an image, it's going to bring up this pop-up window. So this pop-up window is basically letting me know that, hey, you're about to delete this from your disk. Do you want to do that, or do you want to just remove it from Lightroom? So these are other options for you, but I would just say don't do that. Just cancel if that happens. When you get more advanced into Lightroom, you can certainly do that. But at the beginner stage, I would not recommend getting rid of your images. So if for any reason it does end up happening that you accidentally hit like remove from Lightroom or you delete it for some reason, it should show up in your trash. But I'm not 100% about how you would get that back into Lightroom. You would probably have to re-import it. So just so you know, if you're going to try to delete an image from all photographs because you did it on accident and you thought you were in a collection for some reason, if you hit delete, you'll get this pop-up warning. Just cancel that out. Make sure you're in your project folder if you want to delete any images here. So I could delete as many images here, but they would still exist in all my photographs. I didn't actually delete the original image, I just deleted the copy of it. So to move images into this folder, depending on the day, how many images you need, you're going to drag and drop from the middle here, drag and drop, or you can select a stack. So you can copy a bunch or grab a bunch rather. So I'm going to click the first one that I want, hold shift and grab the last one. Or you can also add on images by holding command if you're on Apple or control on a PC. So you can do that. If I want to just move these images in, I can then grab from the middle. So if I grab it from here, I won't be able to pick it up. So again, you want to grab from the middle. So I'm going to hold shift and grab from the last here. And I'm going to go ahead and click, hold, and drag. Now it makes a stack, and I can go ahead and put that into my shutter speed assignment, which you already did, but just as an example. So these are all my images. Now I'm going to move on to exporting. Of course, we're going to go over how to develop your photos in terms of editing, but I just wanted to basically get you to the foundation of what we need to do for this class, which is basically importing your images and organizing them and then exporting them. So another thing that I want to bring to your attention is also your metadata. This is something that I'm going to be looking at when you, or I already have been looking at when you take your images. And if you want to see all of your information, like what exposure program you're on, like manual, which you should be photographing on manual, etc., I can see your date and all of that information, your ISO, what your f-stop and your shutter speed settings are. I can see that all here and up here. If you want access to that, basically you want to be in your metadata on the left side, or sorry, right side panel, and you want to make sure you're in EXIF and IPTC. So if you're in default, it'll just give you some basic information, but not everything. If you want to see a little bit more, you can go to EXIF and IPTC. So I'm going to go ahead and go over exporting now. So after you've made your collections, then you would eventually go to develop to edit your photos, spend some time editing your photos for your assignments, changing, even just a little bit of changing your images can go a long way. I do think that each image should at least have a little bit of like exposure adjustment, a little bit of brightness, a little bit of contrast at the minimum. So each photo should have a little bit of something done to it. But after you've done your editing, then you can basically go into your export. Again, I will go over this in class. I'm getting ahead of myself just so I can do this all in one video here. So exporting for basically the assignments that you will turn in terms of your projects, and also to upload to your discussion, you'll want to be exporting your images because we're taking raw images. Raw images cannot be uploaded to Canvas, and they can also not be sent to me because they're going to be really large files. So I want JPEGs for both your discussions or your assignments on Canvas, and I want them also for things that you turn in for your projects. So what you want to do is, even if I'm just selecting my project one, or if I'm just selecting my shutter speed collection, only one image is selected. When I go to export, it says export one file. We don't want that. We want all of them. So what you want to do, there's a couple ways. You could certainly click the first one, hold shift and click the last one, which will work nicely for both Apple and PC. But you want to see that they're all highlighted. They're all ready and they're all selected. When I go to export again, I can see up here it says export 7 files, and that's exactly how many files are there. So another